All right. A pleasant good evening to you and yours, and welcome to the Brevard Sports Network and our post-game show tonight, brought to you by Ubrazati, the Ubrazati post-game show. Who's king of the hill now is probably going to be the topic of conversation looking around the county tonight. Just an incredible night of football, high school football, week one. Had some stunners, near upsets. These games in no particular order on your screen. Let's go down the scoreboard. Space Coast 7, Gateway 2, Cocoa 30, Merritt Island 24 in double overtime. We got a lot to talk about there. Vieira 22, Rockledge 21, as the Hawks and a 7-game slide to the Raiders, and they win the backyard brawl for the first time in a long time. Heritage with a huge win at Al Wernicke Field tonight in overtime, 25-19. Astronaut 38, Palm Bay 6, Melbourne 58, Cocoa Beach 7, Vero Beach 41, O'Galley 31, Bayside 19, Atlantic 6, Holy Trinity 28-14 over Legacy. Merritt Island Christian all over Ocala Christian. Bayside, well, there's Bayside on there for you twice. They did so good tonight. MCC 35-7 over Somerset. Don't have a satellite score. Don't have a Calvary Chapel score. Let me also apologize to the masses out there. As you know, it's been a tough off season for Brevard Sports Network. We have lost several high-priced free agents. Now, we've gotten some back, the Knox and the Chases of the world. So it'll take us a couple of weeks tonight. We apologize for the issues that we had with the audio tonight on Brian's headset. We'll get that fixed. Give us a week or so, and I promise you'll come to get the quality that we're 3-4 to 1 over anybody else in terms of views when it comes to Friday Night Lights. So, we'll give you that quality, and I promise, I know you're getting it on the prep and the broadcast. So, in terms of the intangibles like the audio, we'll make sure it's all good to go. So my apologies tonight for those of you that we may have left frustrated in a situation or two, and I believe it was just during the Cocoa and the Merritt Island game anyway. So before we even get started tonight, here are 3 clips, or a couple of clips tonight, you should probably take a look at before we even get going.
Shotgun, Nelson rolling, looking to find a receiver, throws it, it's caught! Sean Hartman for a Vieira Hawks touchdown!
Sean Hartman won.
So now the all-important and crucial. Oh, wait, no, Vieira's going for the win. Nelson looking to throw, throws it inside, and the 2-point conversion. Is it good? It is.
Yes. Yes.
The Vieira Hawks now lead 22-21.
Gives Lee. Stop. Is he in? Touchdown. He got in. Touchdown. He got through. Lee gets in. Well, now it's going to be the Wildcat here. It's going to be the Wildcat with Kamari Jackson. Jackson bobbled the ball, lost it. It's out. And Heritage has it. And the Panthers have won.
Smith trying to get his first W as a Cocoa Tiger. Hands it off to Scott, and Scott piles ahead. He keeps going, rumbling, bumbling towards the end zone. Touchdown, Cocoa Tigers, as they win this ball game off the back of Tavion Scott.
Oh, what a night, huh? Oh, what a night. 2 overtime games, one double overtime, 1 overtime game. But, gentlemen, the game that intrigued me the most going in, and let's welcome in Caleb Brown and my main man, Anthony Knockreiner. Gentlemen, the game that really intrigued me the most tonight, because I'm going to be honest, just as sure as I'm sitting here, I'm going to tell the truth. I expected Cocoa to walk into the O-Dome tonight, and I didn't expect that to be anything like it was. And I didn't expect Heritage to go up to Al Wernicke Field tonight and do what they did. So what the hell do I know about high school football? But the bottom line is your game intrigued me the most because the issue that I saw with Rockledge last week was they didn't play 4 quarters of football. And you saw a Vieira team last week that was good offensively, growing defensively. But this was one heck of a football game tonight, Knock. And kind of take us, you guys had to call, you and Caleb. Knock, Caleb, take us through this thing tonight.
Well, I mean, the thing is Rockledge goes up, they jump up 21-7. Vieira made mistakes, and we saw the same things that we saw from Vieira that kind of burned them in the Palm Bay game. It burned them again tonight. They had some troubles in the back. Watkins, man, he just continues to impress. He had 2 touchdown passes. He had some great ones. Both teams tonight had touchdowns wiped off the board because of penalties, and we saw a lot of laundry on the field tonight. But, Alan, I'm going to take you to this. You know, Rockledge gets the ball to start the second half, and the second half went by quick. We had maybe, 6 drives between the two teams.
Really?
Yeah. Rockledge goes, and they start from their own 12. They go all the way down to about the 2-yard line. They go twice with a center quarterback exchange, which unfortunately, fourth down, they fumble it, and it didn't really matter either way because they recovered it, but they couldn't quite get the play off. So Vieira takes over at their own 2-yard line, marches 14 plays, and talk about a complete change in momentum. Rockledge going in to score 28-7 potentially. All of a sudden, it's Vieira 21. Rockledge 21, Vieira 14.
So we have the same issue with Rockledge again this week. A young football team,
Yep.
Not 4 quarters of football.
Right.
Correct.
Well, that's not, and that schedule's the 3rd toughest in the county. So this is going to be, and I give John Holmes all the credit in the world. This is going to be a trial by fire for a young football team. I don't think this is anything John Holmes didn't expect.
Correct. No, and look, each team had a touchdown taken off the board by big penalties. So, I mean, you want to talk about big-time opportunities. Both teams one step forward, knocking themselves.
Who impressed you the most tonight?
I think for me it has to be Sal Orlando, and then I also got to give it to Sean Hartman. You know, Caleb throughout the broadcast tonight talked about it because Sean Hartman had a couple of miscues, he had a couple drops early on in this game, and then to come back the way he did, he had some big conversions for the Vieira Hawks, and really was that safety blanket for Eric Nelson to go to, and ultimately was the one that got the touchdown, and then it was Jonah Woodruff with the 2-point conversion. But Sal Orlando had 3 sacks in the second half, and he had the one that sealed the deal to end it and give the win to the Vieira Hawks because, and I said it to Caleb on the broadcast, Watkins had time. He had about a minute left before the end of the game, and you called the game last week. Watkins led a game-winning drive. Watkins also impressed. I got to give him credit, too. That young quarterback's going to be fun to watch.
I don't know. By the time we get to Halloween, I don't know where these teams are going to be. I think, obviously, Rockledge is a young football team, and I think with the schedule that they play, if they don't – and I said this last week, and I'll say it again this week, if they don't start playing 4 quarters of football, it could be a long season for the Raiders. But I think you'll see them win some games that maybe you didn't expect them to win, and they may lose some games like they lost tonight. And good for Tony Gulla and the Vieira Hawks because this is a football game. Vieira doesn't win last year. No. It doesn't win. This is a football game that Vieira wouldn't win in the last 4 years, to be quite honest with you. And they get the victory tonight. They fight, they scratch, they claw, they come back. And you know what? Rockledge put up 37 points last week against a pretty good Heritage defense. Heritage is scrappy, man. They're physical. Mark Ainsley's going to throw a 3-3 stack at you. You're not going to know where pressure's coming from. Bottom line is, impressive win tonight for Vieira to come back. Because you have to think when you get down like that in the first half, you have to believe, what starts happening to yourself as a player, right? Does it start creeping back into you? Start saying things like, here we go again. Is this another year like last year or the year before where we lost 3 out of our last 4 to close the season? And the answer to that question is no. The Hawks get a week 1 win. And for Rockledge, it's on to the next.
Yep.
And they're just going to have to continue to turn these second halves, and that's what it's been the last 2 weeks, these second halves into learning experiences Or again, like I said, young football teams will find themselves at the end of running clocks if they don't play 4 quarters of football against some of those schedules.
The biggest thing that impressed me was we came into the game talking about, we believed in Vieira's front 7, but that back half of that defense was something that we were curious. Would you believe it if I told you Elijah Mitchell was held to 1, maybe 2 catches tonight?
That's incredible game planning. Good job by Charlie Washington there, the defensive coordinator, because I don't care if he's 8th grader, 9th grader, guys like him, freshmen like him and Corbin, and they're tough to shut down, man.
Oh, yeah.
Those kids are shifty. They're fast. They get open. Congratulations to Vieira, because I know this is a big, big, big week 1 win, and we'll go over the schedule for next week at the end of the show. Let's talk about the game I had tonight. Titusville and Heritage, and I want to apologize to Jordan Padala because for some unknown reason, and I think it was because I was doing 15 things at once. I wanted to make sure everybody's broadcast was going. We're still feeling our way through after losing everybody. So at 7 o'clock, I don't even think I said the ball was kicked off. I think I just showed it, But I want to apologize to Jordan Padala because I called him Joseph for most of the night. And I don't even know where in the hell I got that. But Jordan Padala tonight came out the complete opposite quarterback he was last week in the first half. He was firing darts. He was, man, Heritage had a drive. Titusville got the football. They drove down. Their drive stalled. Heritage gets the ball. They punt. Heritage gets the football. They go on a drive. You don't see this in high school anymore. They go on a drive where they take 11 and a half minutes to execute the drive. Nearly an entire quarter of football to execute the drive. And they score. They take the lead. And then the next 2 touchdowns from Heritage was a 77-yard strike from Padala to, I believe, Owens, and then a flea flicker, which was beautifully executed. Pitch to Lee, back to Jordan Padala, 75 yards down the field to Nate Owens, touchdown, and it just stunned Titusville. They just didn't know what to do. But they fought back, and they fought back. What you could see tonight was an offense that's a work in progress. Their quarterback, William Billingsley, he made some good throws tonight. He made some not so good throws tonight. He made some good decisions tonight. He made some not so good decisions tonight. But I think Matt Diesel and this offense, they certainly have the talent with guys like Tank Harvey. Tank is a beast. They're going to get it done. I talked to Coach Diesel after the game about a decision that they made in this football game. They tied the game up, and they go for 2. They don't kick the extra point, which would have won the football game. They had made an extra point off the foot of their kicker prior to that. I'm told by somebody else upstairs in the booth that this is a young man that joined the team from the soccer team about 2.5 weeks ago. From one end of the field, the kid is money. From the other end of the field, the kid is not. And so they were at the end of the field where the kid's not money, so they elected to go for 2. I think hindsight being 20/20, and I love Matt Diesel, but I think you got to kick the extra point there. Because even if, and I was a toe-on kicker in high school. I was my kicker. I was our team's kicker. And I was a Lou Groza type, and I'd line drying them. Even if you get that over the crossbar, the game's over and you get out of there with a win. And they didn't. And it gave Heritage new life. And in overtime, even the 2-point conversion looked off. The quarterback didn't seem exactly clear what to do with the football. And I don't know. It seems like the Titusville offense has got some work to do. Look, they don't get beat deep twice like they did. Then, they win the football game, but they did, and listen. Stephen Hughes and Jordan Padala are dialed in together. I don't know that I've seen a quarterback. He works. It's almost irritating to watch, to be honest with you.
All right.
And what I mean by that is they get up to the line of scrimmage. Heritage gets up to the line of scrimmage. They all go down to the down formation. Inevitably, every time, they all pop back up. they look over for the next play call. This happens on every play. And you go, geez, come on, snap the ball, right? I mean, you say that to yourself on every play. But Padala's watching that back, Judge, because when he puts his hand up, it's 10 seconds to go, right? The kid knows. The kid works the clock. Like, very few high school quarterbacks I've seen work. And it worked to their advantage tonight. And good for him and good for Stephen Hughes. And it worked. And Heritage got a win tonight that I would have never guessed they got. Congratulations. That's all you can say. That's just a damn good win. Any thoughts? Or?
Well, I mean, Heritage just bouncing off of what they did last week and having an impressive win because they jumped out 13-0 all over Titusville. I mean, Alan, for you, what did you see that from them? Because obviously they had a poor start against Rockledge, but
they started fast tonight.
Yeah.
They started fast. And, you know, in the second half, they had built enough of a cushion. And their defense was confusing Titusville's offense tonight. I really believe that. I mean, just watching. And listen, to Titusville's credit, Coach Diesel, who's running the offense now, he didn't just stand pat and continue to go with the same thing. They went with a wildcat with their running back tonight, and it worked. That's what put points on the board for them, was the wildcat with Kamari Jackson, the quarterback. Okay, they bring in 3 big guys that all play H-back. Kamari Jackson is the quarterback and a wildcat. And Jackson picks his holes and he goes. And he's a great running back. He's one of the best in the county. And Jackson picks his holes and he goes. And it worked. The problem is it don't always work. And when you need to throw the football, to me, that's when Titusville's offense seemingly was confused. Mark Ainsley's bringing pressure from everywhere like Mark Ainsley does. You know, in that 3-3 stack. You and I have been watching Ainsley for years.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, we went up and did the regional champion. My heart's still broken over that drop 2-point conversion in the corner of the end zone at Mainland from 10 years ago, right? So, yes. That's what I saw. You know, I just saw a defense take advantage of one part of an offense that just didn't seem in sync. And I wouldn't be shocked if Titusville came back with more of that wildcat next week, because especially to start the football game, because maybe had they done that, we'd be looking at a different outcome, and I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is curious because they did add a lot of pieces to that offense.
They did. They did.
I was going to ask you, because, like, what does Billingsley look like? Because you talk about some good, some bad.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, like, he made a throw tonight running this way. Now, he caught a break because it was a pass interference, but he threw off his back foot, running to the sideline, back across the middle of the field, which you can't do. But he'll roll out to his strong side and throw an absolute dart to the sidelines, which is, you know, so you're going to get the good and the bad of it, you know. And so I just think they need to find some rhythm, and they will. And if they can get the rhythm in that passing attack going, and if they can mesh in that wildcat, then they got something. But what I needed to see from Titusville tonight was what we talked about on the preview show last night, was Titusville wants to be at the top of the county with the O'Galleys and the Cocos. Well, we'll get to the O'Galleys and the Cocos in a minute in terms of what is the top of the county right now, okay? But they're not there yet. And I'll just say that. They're not there yet. So, I mean, that's my observation on that. Could they be there? Yes. They got to get some things figured out quick, because next week they're hosting Seminole, and Seminole wins 10, 11 games every year. So, all right, let's talk about that Cocoa Tiger football game, gentlemen. Tonight, Troy Silver's on with 3 touchdowns from the H-back position tonight. Jamal Smith, Tank was a little banged up tonight. Nearly 100 yards. Cocoa. Matter of fact, I told people Cocoa lost this football game because we had lost the stream at one point, and, you know, God bless Chase and Brian, they got it back in that overtime there. But listen, and I'll say this, what Merritt Island did tonight, I didn't expect.
No.
They go down last week and give up 6 touchdowns to Fort Pierce Central. And everybody's going, man, Fort Pierce Central has been a very good football team for years. What is Cocoa going to do to Merritt Island at home? Well, whatever ailed Merritt Island last week, apparently they got it fixed in a hurry, right? So good for Coach Tyler Murray. But let me say this about Coco, all right? Everybody sitting at home is going, oh, geez, here we go, right? I got to go back and watch the entire game. But from what I've seen on the drive coming back down from Ty, I don't know if there's any other team in the county tonight that could have won in there and won that football game.
Nope.
I don't. And I think Coco is well aware of their issues. They know what their issues are, both offensively. And, look, Merritt Island put 24 points on them defensively. They Coco turned the football over 5 times tonight.
Wow.
5 times.
Ouch.
Okay, so they obviously got to clean that up.
Yeah.
But, man, I mean, I think they're going to have to get it fixed in a hurry because they're going to have to play Vero Beach in a couple of weeks. And they got Mainland next week. I was speaking to somebody, and I said, is Mainland any good? I don't know. And they said, my God, I hope not. But, yeah, I mean, they get Mainland home next week, and that'll be a good one. And then they got to go to Vero Beach. So I don't think they played the way they played tonight and beat either of those two teams.
No, you don't give up 5 turnovers. You don't.
No.
You don't win football games that way. And they got to overtime, but at the same time too, though, you kind of talked about it last week, Alan. Do they have to try and change a little bit to the way they normally win ball games? Because how did they win tonight? It seemed like it was on the back of Scott.
Yeah. He gets that 25-yard touchdown, and I have to go back and watch this football game. And kudos to, and I don't want to sit here and not talk about Merritt Island because damn.
Oh yeah.
They almost go. What's that?
I was going to say, last night the preview show, I said Merritt Island, I think, wanted to come out of this game fixing a piece, a corner of that puzzle. I think they may have fixed.
They turned that sucker over and glued the back.
Well, here's my question. Did they overlook Fort Pierce, and were they more prepared for what Coco was going to bring to the table? Because they were looking at Coco more than Fort Pierce.
Yeah, and that's a great question because we prefaced last week by saying we don't know what these coaches are doing in these kickoff classics.
No.
We don't know what they're showing. And if Coco's on my schedule week 1, I'm not too concerned about Fort Pierce Central. I just want my guys to change – to trade paint with somebody different and get in a game Friday feel. But if Coco's week 1 on my schedule, that's who I'm preparing for.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not preparing for – and no disrespect to the Cobras.
No.
But that's who – everything we do from the time we report that first Monday in July ain't got a damn thing to do with Fort Pierce Central.
No.
You're looking for that week 1 statement. And by the way, even in a loss, I do think Merritt Island made a statement. If you can turn Coco over 5 times.
Well, and the statement is the district's wide open because maybe Merritt Island now feels like the favorite in this district. And because O'Galley, I don't know the situation with Joseph Allen. Yeah. Anybody that watched that stream tonight knows the young man was carted off. Came back out in the second half on crutches and in a brace, okay? I don't know what the extent of his injury is. My God, I hope it's just a sprain and the kid is okay.
Absolutely.
But if he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, then this district is definitely wide open. And I don't know. I have to look because I don't know who the backup. I don't know if it's Brody Grantland. But even with that, O'Galley still put up 31 points tonight against Vero Beach, right? It was, 41-31?
Yes.
Yep.
So I'll have to go watch this game as well to go see, and we'll have a better understanding of it throughout the course of the week. 31 points without your starting quarterback in the second half. Okay.
I mean, O'Galley's, they've got weapons. They still have ways to get guys the ball in space. And they just got to try to figure out who's going to distribute it.
I mean, you got guys like Xavier Corbin and Xavier Larice that you could put back there in a Wildcat if you had to.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. And again, I don't know who the backup is.
Well, and hey, let's not forget, Corbin played some quarterback.
We've seen him do it
in youth ball. So again, you don't need him to. I don't need him to chuck 50 yards downfield.
Look, his brother Could play some quarterback when the Raiders needed it. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
You don't need him to chuck the ball 50 yards downfield. Just give me 5 to 10. You can hit a slant. And you
See
can,
Jay Sean Corbin do little jump dunk passes, right?
Hey, listen, and then bubble screen out to your buddy Larice and the other weapons they have and go to work.
Yeah, I'm still impressed at the fact that they don't have their starting quarterback in the second half,
Right.
And they still put up 31 points, and they never stop fighting in this game. Because I think it was like 41-17 or 21 at one point, and it ends up 41-31. So kudos to them. I just hope the injury to Joseph Allen is not serious. I know there's another quarterback in this county that went down. That wasn't streamed. They haven't said anything yet, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But I hate the fact that these kids are going down like this.
We have Miss Bethany who says the second half was all Wildcat from.
Was it really?
From O'Galley.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Miss Bethany. I appreciate that update. And listen, the speed.
They have enough weapons where you
They
can.
got enough weapons.
They have enough weapons where you can run the Wildcat and no one get tired.
I said on the Mark Moses show last week that I had O'Galley 1 and Coco 2 coming into the week 1 of the season. Love the win by Coco, and I do. I really do. Because, again, I don't think another team goes in there and wins that game. And I just don't. That's championship pedigree.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay, to go win that football game when the O-Dome is no joke of a place to play.
No.
It's an historic place. Merritt Island's got that history. It's not an easy place to play, okay? But they got it figured out throughout the course of the night, right? I'm still going to say, I'm still going to go EG1 and Coco 2. I'm still going to leave it there. And I know they're going to play September 19th, but that's where I'm going to leave it for now. And we'll see what happens. That's just my opinion. And they could be 1 and 1A. That's sugarcoating it. And I know, like Jackson, and I love, and Jackson's right when he says this. And Mark Moses says the same thing. And I'm sure you guys are going to tell me the same thing, you idiot. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Well, this is a different season. I think Coco absolutely deserves their flowers for 18 consecutive Final Fours and 3-time state champs. But this is 2025. And I'll go back and watch the game, both games tonight. I won't go to bed tonight. I won't go to sleep till 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I will watch both those games tonight. And I'll be in the room with the iPad on the TV, and I'll be flipping. I have multiple remotes in my hand. But I think what I'm going to see is exactly what I think I'm going to see. You know what I mean? Any thoughts?
Miss Hawkins
says,
Alan, you don't sound so sure. but no, I mean, look, when
I just can't wait for September 19th.
You can call it sugarcoating and calling them 1A, 1 and 1A. But I think that's probably one of the most plain ways to put it. Because, again, O'Galley's much different than they were last season, and so is Coco. I think it is fair to go 1 and 1A, and I don't think it's sugarcoating it.
What do you say?
I mean, I'm going to say the fact that I think Coco continues to find ways to win. How can you knock them when they turn the ball over 5 times and they still found a way to win?
I know.
And here's the thing, too. I'm funny.
I'm also told that it wasn't a well-officiated game, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I was going to say, I think the one thing we can all take away, and that game, I don't know what it was like for you at your game, but either team's got a lot to clean up or they got to figure some things out.
There's a lot of flags in my game, too.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like there were a lot of flags, and I'm not criticizing officials, but there was a lot of laundry in our game tonight.
Yeah, there's not enough ties sticking Brevard County to clean all that crap up tonight.
No, not at all. But I'll tell you what, though. But looking at Coco and O'Galley, though, look how different. O'Galley's defense is new. Coco's isn't. Coco's offense is new, but O'Galley's isn't.
Right. It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. All right, listen, I think we also need to toot the horn of the Astronaut War Eagles, who 6 points last week, 38 tonight. played a very tough Palm Bay team who last week scored 20 plus on Vieira.
Yeah.
In that game. And Astronaut, Brandon Waldrop at quarterback. I said this week the key for Astronaut would be whether they found their offense. It appears as though they have, gentlemen. And I know that makes Logan Halleck extremely happy because let me tell you something. Logan Halleck is, if ever you're going to talk to a guy that's more connected in terms of like, when you think of a college offensive coordinator, coaching mind, talk to Logan Halleck. Mm-hmm. That's that guy. So congratulations, because Astronaut is 1-0. Congratulations to Jeff Panucci as the Panucci era gets underway, and I'll have to coach if you're watching. Please send me all of everyone who scored tonight. A running clock victory and a game you saw right here on Brevard Sports Network, 58-7. And Melbourne doing to teams that are climbing ladders exactly what they need to be. Melbourne doesn't put 58 on Cocoa Beach last year. They don't put 58, on Cocoa Beach the year before. They don't do what they did to their opponent, Pine Ridge, last week. This is a good Melbourne football team. I want to see a little better competition come up on the schedule for them, and then we'll see. But I like what I see so far, Knock.
I was about to say, they got Merritt Island next week.
Yeah.
So we're really going to find out, considering what we just saw from the Mustangs. And that's going to be a big test for the Bulldogs as well. Again, Coach Jaime doing his thing at Cocoa Beach. Not a game that I really feel like we're going to measure the Minutemen off of, really. But a great win for Coach Panucci on his head coaching debut, his first official W as head coach, which was fantastic.
We've been giving him his first official win since the spring game.
So far, technically, out of those three, he's 3-0.
Right, he's 3-0.
And the offense, led by Coach Washington and Coach Palmer, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, look at that, huh?
I mean, they're doing good things.
Yeah, they are. Bayside, congratulations to Billy Miller as the Bears go to 1-1. Remember, SSAA is week 2, 19-6 over Atlantic. Holy Trinity gets in the win column. They're 1-1 with a 28-14 win over Legacy, I believe. Merritt Island Christian in the 8-man game takes the 11-1 from last year, Ocala Christian, and blasts them out of the water, 44-8. Good for Matt Hamwick. They're going to win a state championship this year. I'm saying it now. And again, Bayside did such a good job. I put them on the scoreboard twice. And last night, MCC with a 35-7 win over Somerset. And gentlemen, my dumb you-know-what didn't pull the schedule for next week. But, you just mentioned a game there. You look at O'Galley. The Commodores next week. We know Cocoa. You're going to see Cocoa Mainland right here on Brevard Sports Network. That game is next week. O'Galley against Rockledge next week. Listen, Rockledge better play 4 quarters of football. That's all I got to say next week. Titusville, we told you they were playing Seminole next week in a big one. Let's see where Heritage is, because we'll be broadcasting Heritage. Heritage is next week. Heritage, I'm sorry, I got this wrong. Heritage hosts Seminole next week. I got that wrong. Apologies. Titusville hosts Holy Trinity. Okay. And then they go to West Orange. So an opportunity next week against the team that I love, Hurley Brown. He's always going to put a competitive team on the field. But obviously, Titusville is going to go into this game favored to win this football game. Mm-hmm. We'll see. They were favored to win tonight, too.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So we'll see. As far as Vieira goes next week, we also got our first MCC game next week. Vieira hosts Deltona next week. And MCC in a good win next week against Trinity Catholic. So those are some of the games on tap. As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to – me and the AI will get together and we'll do the Chat GPT and we'll do the recaps on all of this. But final thoughts tonight, Kelly. We'll start with you.
Again, I will sing the praises of Sean Hartman to go through the first half he went through. Dropped what should have been a touchdown in the first half. Like, he had it wide open, green grass, would have waltzed into the end zone. and to finish the game by catching the game-winning touchdown.
Nice.
To set up the Jonah Woodruff 2-point conversion. That's what I call heart, and Alan, we've gotten a chance to know him over the years. The heart of that kid.
Knock usually, yeah, no, you're right. I love the heart of Hartman. No pun intended. Normally we're sitting here week one and we're going, this team, they're all good, and then it's the rest of Brevard County. That ain't the case this year, is it?
No, I mean, that's the best thing. I think that's my takeaway. Look at how wide open this county is, and look how competitive it is. I think that's the fantastic part of this, because look at how many close scores we saw. Like, again, the gap isn't that wide between all the top teams. I still think it's Cocoa, Galley. Those are the top two teams, clearly. But, man, everybody's starting to really close that gap, and we're going to find out more. But, man, what a week one. This was a great week one.
You know, it was a hell of a week one.
Yeah.
And, so real quick, before we get out of here, because I'm going to apologize again, let me just show the 3 clips from the 3 games that we had. I think this is the first night in the history of Brevard Sports Network where every game ended as close as it did. Normally, somebody's sitting on a running clock. Wasn't the case tonight.
Shotgun, Nelson rolling. Looking to find a receiver. Throws it. It's caught! Sean Hartman for a Vieira Hawks touchdown!
Sean Hartman. 1.
So now the all-important and crucial. Oh, wait, no, Vieira's going for the win. Nelson looking to throw. Throws it inside, and the 2-point conversion. Is it good? It is!
Yes!
The Vieira Hawks now lead 22-21.
Gives Lee. Stop. Is he in? Touchdown. He got in. Touchdown. He got through. Lee gets in. Well, now it's going to be the Wildcat here. It's going to be the Wildcat with Kamari Jackson. Jackson bobbled the ball, lost it. It's out. And Heritage has it. And the Panthers have won.
Smith trying to get his first W as a Cocoa Tiger. Hands it off to Scott, and Scott piles ahead. He keeps going, rumbling, bumbling towards the end zone. Touchdown, Cocoa Tigers, as they win this ball game off the back of Tavion Scott.
There you have it. The exciting finishes from week one on Brevard Sports Network. On the calls, Anthony Knockreiner, Chase Alexander, and yours truly, Alan Slaughterzinski. Again, my apologies to you, all of you out there tonight, for our audio issues. Again, it's not an excuse. I would never make an excuse. We are working through replacing 4 very valuable members of our crew. Thank God for Knock. Thank God we got Chase back tonight. Trust me, the BSN quality for every game we broadcast that you've come to expect, we're there. We'll be fine. And I want to apologize to Jordan Padala, whom for some reason tonight I renamed Joseph. And so for that, gentlemen, thank you both very much. And I tell you, what a week one. I can only hope it's this way every week. 4 more on tap for you next week. Tomorrow morning, bright and early. Caleb, Suntree Vieira, who are they playing?
They're playing the Palm Bay Rockets, and I believe the 10U Suntree Vieira. I don't know if it's here or at DeLand. If it's here.
It's here.
If it's here, well, then the 10U Suntree Vieira Hawks take on the DeLand Bulldogs.
There you go. So that's 8:30 tomorrow morning. And so for Caleb Brown, for Anthony Knockreiner, for Chase Alexander, for my man Brian Kelly. Well, Kelly is his last name.
Yes.
Brian Kelly, who did a terrific job tonight. I'm Alan Slaughterzinski. Thanks to all of you out there. Thank you, Uberzati, for always sponsoring this show. Have a great night, everyone.